All right. I want to talk about some of the things I've seen in my meditation. Now, I need to make this plain right off the bat that I am a mutable cross. That is the 30-fold seed. Not the 60 or the 100 of the cardinal cross, but just 30. Consequently, I am barely a pimple on the ass end of a mule owned by a real mystic. But there you go. It is what it is. I am what I am. Now, the first time I meditated, I saw this. Well, the first time I successfully meditated. I'd had a few abortive attempts, and this would have been the third, fourth, something like that time. And it took me about 20 minutes or a half an hour, just thinking and concentrating on my breathing, and then all of a sudden, boom. This thing shows up just above my head and left of midline. It wasn't above the bridge of my nose, it was a little to the left. Subjectively, I'd say it was about 5 to 6 feet out in front of me. Nothing to judge it by, though, really, because there was no background, anything else, just a big purple eye staring at me. Scared the hell out of me. I didn't go back and meditate again for 6 or 8 months. It scared me so bad. After this, I had a dream. And in this dream, I was the only dream I've ever become lucid in that I can recall, where I was in control in the dream, and I knew it was a dream while I was dreaming it. And I'm walking along it looks like a beautiful college campus, long, low building up in front of me. Off to the left, there was a bay, a small inlet with like small sailboats and Hobie cats, and those twin-hulled catamaran things. And it was very beautiful. Green grass. It was in color. Sky was blue, not a cloud in the sky. And I walk in this building, and I'm looking for something. And I go in and to my left, and I go through a large commercial kitchen, lots of stainless steel, guys in white coats, funny hats. And I go through the kitchen and out the door and turn to the right and up a set of stairs. And I go into an entryway like you'd see in front of an auditorium. You come in off the street through the doors, and you've got all this big wide landing area. Then you got doors into the auditorium. And this entryway, this landing area, is full of white mist. It's not smoke. It doesn't smell like smoke. It's not wet like fog. It was a mist, like walking through a cloud. And I look over to my left, and there are a couple of fellas standing by a podium with a small light on it going over some notes or something. And there's another fellow, and he is sitting down at a smaller, like a card table. And he's on the cell phone. And I recognized him. He was famous. He was a singer. I'd actually seen him in concert once, 25 years ago. Almost 30, I guess now. I thought he'd gone completely Hollywood. I didn't much care for him, but I did see him. And I walked over to talk to him. And he said, "Wait, I'm on the phone." I said, "All right." So I waited. I looked around and I could see into the auditorium. It was open. The doors were open. And the rows of seats down in front of the stage. And I could see the stage. There were people moving scenery and putting down tape and stuff. And a few people in the first few rows with clipboards and that kind of thing. It was obvious some production was getting ready to get underway or be rehearsed or something. And he come off the phone. He got off the phone. And I spoke to him and I said, "I'm looking for whatever it was I was looking for." And he said, "You have to go down those stairs and back out there, blah, blah, blah." I said, "All right, thank you. Oh, by the way, I'm a big fan." And I was a big fan of his early work. He said, "Thanks a lot." He shook my hand. And as he shook my hand, his hand had no fingers on it. It was deformed. It was like they'd all been cut off above that first knuckle. Just stumps. No fingers, no thumb, no blood. It was all nicely healed up and everything. Just no fingers. Deformed hand. So I walked outside, back down through the kitchen again and out the doors. And I'm walking across that big lawn down the sidewalk, Now the little inlet or bay is off to my right, and there's more buildings ahead of me that were behind me, I guess, on the way in. And I look off to my left where I hadn't looked before, and there are two suns in the sky. And it's a blue sky, but there are two suns. And I remember looking at them and go, "Shit, it's here. I better get moving." And I start to hustle. And I notice a tall, spire-like mountain. It's too tall a needle-like projection to exist in reality, And way up at the top of it is a beautiful, a fortress or city shining in the suns, reflecting light everywhere. It was just beautiful. I thought, I got to check that out one of these days when I have time. And then I started hot-footing it back the way I had come, and I woke up. Now, the next time I meditated, I saw this. Only it wasn't exactly like that. It was more like this picture you'll find if you type in demiurge on Google. It'll be back a couple, 3 pages. But I saw this. I was much closer to it than that cloud formation. I was looking at it through a keyhole. The keyhole was in a wall, not a door, and the wallpaper was a beautiful light blue, a little lighter than this actually, with vertical striping, something like you'd see in an old house, turn of this last century maybe. And I saw this thing, and I thought initially it didn't see me, didn't know I was there. I was looking at it through this keyhole. And I thought, that's good. It doesn't know I'm here. And I became aware as I'm looking at it that it's mechanistic. It's a machine. It's what we would call AI, like a Borg. It was unmistakably that thing, that cloud with the demiurge light rays coming off it, but I was up close to it. And it would be several months of constant study and research and looking before I would find out that that keyhole I poorly drew there is a very old alchemical symbol for death. That I was looking at the demiurge through the keyhole of death. But it was mechanistic. It was artificial. It was... Some people have said that they get a whiff of femininity off of it. I did not. There was no gender to it whatsoever. I got immense age, immense power, a small sliver of self-satisfaction. I wouldn't call it conceit. I wouldn't call it being smug. I would call it is doing a job, and it is doing it well in its opinion, and it is pleased with itself, like if you've had a rough day at work and put out a lot of fires, and you still manage to get some real work done. You go home that night and you go, phew, that was a bitch, but we did it, As soon as I realized it was AI, the first thing on my mind was, well, I just formed the word in my mind, morality. The question mark, interrogatory, morality? And the answer came back just as loud and clear as a bell. Does not compute. The thing I saw is neither male nor female, nor is it moral or immoral. It is amoral. It does not care. If that is Brahma or Abraham, this demiurge, then it doesn't have a sense of morality. The thought has also occurred to me that it's my higher self, and that whatever we are out there, artificial intelligence of some kind, morality isn't part of the equation. It doesn't seem possible, but then 2 years ago, I couldn't see past a dualistic universe either, to the unity beyond it. It's a difficult pill to swallow, but we're all being clubbed over the head with it, one way or another. But in the final analysis, I don't think it matters much. Because whatever out there is, whatever we are out there, we are what we are in here. And you have to see past the duality to the unity. And once you see the unity, the Christ message is crystal clear. I mean crystal, by God, clear. You don't judge, or you're going to be judged. You do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Because if you don't, the only pooch you're screwing is yourself, your own pooch. It's really not that hard a message to get through our heads, but somehow we get caught up in good versus evil, and we still manage to just miss the picture completely. So until next time, I guess, be good, be kind, be loving, Especially that bastard you can't stand.